Hello folks, my name is Mark. This is Why I Hate the World. How you guys doing? Just a very quick video today. We're going to be talking about the TikTok ban. So before we do that, let's take a look at what we are working on. This is our big, hideous, evil tentacle beast thing. And I'll just be adding some detail to it here. So that's what we're going to work on. So what the hell is going on with TikTok and why should you care? Well, I'm sure you all know that TikTok has basically been banned, but not yet. What exactly happened? Well, so there was this huge bill that they just passed that the president, actually Biden, just signed in order to give some foreign aid over to various countries, some aid to Israel, help them buy rockets and bullets and bombs for their genocide. That's what we're doing, unfortunately. But along with that was also some aid to Ukraine so that they could fight back against Russia, which is good, because that's what we should be doing. We should be giving them weapons and stuff, but I digress. And then also some aid over to Taiwan, which so they can defend themselves from the communist Chinese. Which brings us to TikTok, because that's kind of the whole reason why TikTok was banned. Because TikTok is actually owned by a company which some of the investors and a couple of the founders are Chinese nationals. So they bundled it in with this huge aid package, which in my opinion should be illegal. You shouldn't really be allowed to bundle stuff that has nothing to do with the other thing together. Like, you know, that sort of pork spending, that's what they call that. When you just bundle something that has nothing to do with the actual bill into it. Like, yeah, we're going to give all this aid money to these countries so that they can defend themselves and buy rockets and bombs and stuff like that. Oh, and also we're going to ban TikTok. Seems kind of ridiculous, right? Our country is screwed up and we allow bullshit like that. So that's what happened. And what exactly is going on with it? Well, it's not like just tomorrow suddenly you're going to open up your phone and TikTok ain't going to work no more. That's not exactly it. TikTok will have 1 year in order to sell the company to another company that isn't run and owned by Chinese nationals. And if they don't do that, then at the end of that year, it will be removed from the App Store. So if you have your iPhone or Google, you know, if you have an Android like me, if you're like someone who hates Apple with a passion like I do, because fuck Apple, and you have Android, then you won't be able to download TikTok anymore. And also, if you do already have it, that means you won't be able to get updates. So you'll still be able to use it for about a year, and if you already have it installed on your device, you'll still be able to use it. And if you're an enterprising young person who knows how to jailbreak a device, you'll still be able to install it. So it's not like if you open up TikTok, the SWAT team is going to come like burst through your window or something. Like, that's not what's going to happen. You're not going to go to jail for using TikTok. It's just that you won't be able to get it on your phone. Basically, it is de facto banning it. This is what'll happen is that it'll be a pain in the ass for people to use, and then they'll stop using it. That's kind of how they're going to do it, which, in my opinion, is kind of bullshit. So why exactly is it such a big fucking deal if TikTok is owned by people who are Chinese citizens, right? Because that's what it is. That's why all this bullshit about TikTok is like why the politicians are freaking out or whatever, because some of the investors are Chinese citizens and a couple of the founders are Chinese citizens. Why are they so concerned? Why is it such a big deal? Well, it's because they're afraid that the government of China is going to force these guys in order to hand over personal information for Americans. That's why they're afraid. And, you know, this discussion is not new. It's a couple of years old. In fact, I remember them talking about it during the Trump years, where like the military banned TikTok off of all devices that you can bring onto a military base. If you're in the Army or the Navy or whatever, you're not allowed to have TikTok on your phone. And I can understand that. It's like, okay, national security, blah, 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 right? And there's also concerns that, well, yeah, maybe TikTok, like, maybe there's secret stuff going on with the app. Maybe they're utilizing the camera and the microphone to listen in on people talking. And so there was a fear that if you bring it onto a military base, and you have your phone in your pocket and you're discussing top secret stuff, then TikTok could be like recording that and sending that over to the CCP or whatever, right? Which is, yeah, okay, whatever. I mean, somehow I fucking doubt it. But that is a thing. That is a thing where your phone does listen to you. It does spy on you. If you have a phone, you ever notice how you'll just be talking about something with your friends? You know, like, oh yeah, I watched the Transformers movie the other day. Oh, did you like it? No, it was a giant piece of shit, whatever. And then you go on the internet and you start seeing ads, like Google ads and stuff, for like the Transformers movie, the Transformers ride at Universal Studios, or something related to the Transformers. You ever notice that? You ever notice how you'll be having a discussion with a friend and then you'll start seeing ads about the thing that you had a discussion for? How does Google know that? How do they know that this is what you were talking about? Well, lots of different ways, but one of those ways is listening in through the microphones on your phone. That's kind of been a thing for a while. That's a thing that happens. That's a thing that should be fucking illegal, in my opinion. And I mean, I'm pretty sure they're breaking some kind of law there about privacy laws or whatnot. Shouldn't be allowed. But it is a thing that happens. And they're afraid that, okay, well, TikTok is going to be able to use this information in order to get American military secrets or some shit like that, right? But here's the thing, but if they're just talking about, like, say, data on American users, well, the problem is that they don't have to ban TikTok, because China doesn't have to use TikTok in order to gather that kind of information. China can buy that information legally. And that's the big problem, right? The United States government does this, and so does the government of China, and so does every other government out there. There already are information brokers that collect and share and sell this type of information on every single person on Earth. Not just American citizens, but everybody. And it's been a thing for quite a while now. Like, how do you think Google makes money? How do they make money? Do they make money through ads? Do they make money through services? No, like, how they make money through selling your information. Right. And, so does Facebook, and so does TikTok, and so does Reddit, and so does every social media thing that you've ever used. When you go on there and you search for something, they're collecting that data. When you go on Google and you search for things, whatever it is you're searching for, that data is being collected. When you visit websites and you go through and you're using Google, they're recording your behavior, and they're using this to create profiles of you. And they typically sell this information to advertisers. And there's been some discussions over the last, as far back as I can remember there being an internet, people were talking about how this shouldn't be allowed. And how you shouldn't be allowed, you should be able to opt out and blah, blah, blah. And they do it through all kinds of different ways, through tracking cookies, through just recording the hits that go through their servers, the traffic that goes through their servers, just through recording that. By using cookies, you have a Google profile. You sign into Google, and everything that you do on that platform, everything you search for in Google, it all gets assigned to that profile that you have. And it's uncanny. They can tell everything from your music preferences to who you're dating, to your political affiliation, to everything. To the kind of spaghetti that you like, to where you shop, what kind of food you like to eat, to, you have this kind of car, and the tires on your car are worn out, and then you start seeing ads for tires on your car. You have to change your tires every X number of years or something like that. It's incredibly detailed and kind of crazy how accurate the information is and what kind of information they collect on you. And this is all 100% legal. There's no law against the United States government or any other government going and spending money to get this information and build profiles on people. That was one of the things, that's how Donald Trump fucking won the election, by the way, if you didn't know that. Back in 2016, he had a company called Cambridge Analytica, and they were creating super detailed profiles on electors like this and hitting them with targeted ads. And that's how he was able to basically fucking win. By, like, his ad buys were incredibly effective because they were using this detailed information to create profiles on voters. And that was completely 100% legal. There's absolutely nothing illegal about a politician, for example, buying and using this type of information. Well, if they can use it for advertising and they can use it to win elections and stuff like that, they can use it for all kinds of other reasons. And if you don't think that the intelligence services in China and the United States and every other country aren't doing that, building profiles of people of interest in their enemy nation's government, if you don't think that's a thing, then don't be naive, because it is. And that's already happening. So TikTok doesn't need to have an app on everybody's phone in order to spy on them, because homegrown American companies are already doing that spying for them. All right. So that's the first reason. It's kind of bullshit to me. Second reason, it seems to me that the United States, when they want to ban TikTok, it's because young people use TikTok. It's a platform that they can't control. And that's one of the reasons why they want to get rid of it. You see the exact type of use for TikTok that you see for Facebook and Instagram and everything else. But why are those allowed? Why is Facebook, why is Twitter, why is Instagram or X or whatever the fuck it's called? Why are those allowed when it's the exact same kind of usage that you see there than anywhere else? But TikTok, they want to ban it. It's because it's not run by an American company. It's because they can't control it. That's why. So that's kind of fucking bullshit there. I mean, the company hasn't even been accused of breaking any laws. So why the fuck are we banning it? Doesn't make any sense to me. That's the first thing, right? Now, of course, you could argue back, well, governments ban platforms all the time. And that's completely within their rights of a government to do that. Government is allowed to ban whatever the fuck they want to ban. And, I've heard it said, people said, well, Google is banned in China. So, because precisely for these types of fear. Well, why is Google banned in China? It's because the Chinese government, the Chinese Communist Party, has tight control of the type of media that people are and aren't allowed to view in China. And they don't want unfiltered Western media getting out there, because then people start getting ideas about things like, democracy and shit like that. People might get exposed to ideas they don't like. Like, oh, what was Tiananmen Square really about? Right? Oh, what's actually going on in fucking Tibet? Shit like that. And that's why they want to fucking, that's why China bans Google. But let me list to you some countries. These are the countries, right, that Google is banned in. Google is banned in China. Google is banned in Cuba, Crimea, Iran, North Korea, and Syria. That's where Google's banned. Right. Facebook is banned in lots of those countries too. Facebook is banned in China, Iran, North Korea, Turkmenistan, Myanmar, Uganda, and also Russia. Right. You notice what all of those countries have in common? They're all authoritarian dictatorships. Each one of those is like an authoritarian country where you don't have human rights, not the same kind of rights that you have in a Western country like the United States or Canada or Japan or something. Those are all countries where you don't have freedom of speech. You don't have freedom of assembly. Some of those countries, you don't even have freedom of religion. North Korea, you don't have that. China, there's no freedom of religion in China. You can go to jail for being religious, and not just being a Christian in China. No, that's what a lot of the Christians here like to say that. Oh, the Christians are oppressed in China. Everybody of all religions are oppressed in China. You heard of like fucking Wollongong or whatever, like all kinds of shit. It's all fucking, the Uyghurs in China, they're like Muslim. They're like put in fucking concentration camps. So yeah, that's what all these countries have. Like all these countries that have to control the information that gets to their citizens. Like North Korea is on both of those lists too. Yeah, all this shit's banned in North Korea, fucking obviously. Right. I mean, because they have a tight control on all of the media that their citizens are allowed to see. Because there's no freedom in those countries. Russia's on that list too. Why does Russia ban Facebook? Because of anti-LGBTQ propaganda that they say. They call it propaganda. What's the propaganda? People posting that they're gay and that they're lesbians or whatever, and posting pride flags. And like that's basically the propaganda, you know, that Facebook allows there to be gay people on the fucking on Facebook, so that it has to be banned because Russia is such a tight ass fucking like stuck up country filled with religious fucking homophobes that they can't even like coexist on a platform that allows gay people, so they got to ban it. And just want to make you think, you know, this is just my point. Why am I bringing all this up, right? Well, my point is, do you want to be on a list with those countries that bans platforms like this because you don't like what they have to say? You're afraid that they might spread the wrong information to your people. Is that what the United States is all about? Like, no. No, the major thing that separates the United States from all of these other countries, and even some countries in Europe, historically at least, not so much nowadays, but historically, even countries from Europe, is that you are allowed to basically believe and say and do whatever the hell you want. You're allowed to say whatever you want, you're allowed to believe whatever you want, you're allowed to do whatever you want, as long as you don't, like, hurt someone or murder somebody or whatever, right? You're allowed to dress however you want, you're allowed to have sex with whoever you want. And now you're allowed to get married to whoever you want, and you're allowed to express yourself however the fuck you want, and that includes your gender. These are all things that we cherish in the United States. So why the fuck are we allowing them to just ban a platform that young people, tons and tons of young people, they use, you know, TikTok is like, it's all teenagers. They don't go to YouTube anymore. Teenagers and shit, they don't go to Twitter. They don't go to YouTube. They go to TikTok. That's where they, like, consume their content. And, like, why? Because, oh no, it might be controlled by a government of another country. It's bullshit. It's bullshit, okay? I mean, it'd be one thing if they had actual proof of TikTok breaking the law, or TikTok spying on people, or TikTok trying to, like, fucking record, like, top secret information or some shit. But they don't even have that. It really is, like, in my opinion, like a fucking, just a distraction. It's a distraction so that the politicians and that the Republicans and shit, you know, and Democrats too, don't get me wrong, Democrats are in favor of this, so that they can kind of make it look like they're doing something that they care about us. And it's like, they don't, fuck you. They don't actually give a fuck. That's not the real reason. The real fucking reason is because we don't control that. You know, since it's not owned by an American company and they're not based in the United States, they don't have to basically obey when the United States tells them to do something. They don't have to obey. Like Facebook and Twitter and all that shit, those are American companies. And the United States has, like, much more sway over their content. If the US wanted to ban something off of TikTok, you know, it's like, let's say, oh, you're not allowed to say this, you're not allowed to say that, whatever, TikTok could just tell them to go piss up a fucking rope. Because they don't care. Because they're not owned by an American citizen. So there's no laws, like there's no pressure that can be, like, put on them. You see what I'm saying? It's bullshit, folks. It's really kind of fucking bullshit. So I don't know. So, you know something? I don't use TikTok, but I think I'm going to go download it now. Because fuck them, is what I say. I mean, TikTok's not my thing. I like long form videos, but I don't care. I'm probably going to go on it now. I really don't really use TikTok because, like I said, it's all kids and I don't really give a shit what kids think. Not really. I don't really care. It's fucking whatever. You know, it's all kids and memes and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, whatever. I'm too old for that. I don't give a fuck. But I think I'm going to go download it now just to fucking spite these motherfuckers because it's kind of bullshit. It's like, I don't like the idea of the government saying, no, you're not allowed to use this because it may tell you things we don't like. That pisses me off. And if you're a red-blooded American out there, it should piss you off too. Anyway, folks, that's all I got. Everybody be cool. We'll probably stream again sometime this weekend. Stay safe and adios.
Hello folks, if you like what I do and you want to support the channel, please consider buying something from my Etsy shop, supporting me on Patreon, liking and subscribing, and checking me out across my social media links listed below. Thank you all so much, and see you next time.